Welcome back to Two Whores Opinions. That stands for Women Having Open Redacted Educational Studies. I'm Phyllis.
And I'm Darla.
Strap in.
Or strap on.
Are you ready, kids? Today's episode's gonna be really fun. We're talking about Leopold and Loeb, a.k.a. the Bobby Franks murder case.
A.k.a. the Lethal Lovers.
That's what we like to call them.
Yeah, you know, I was once almost a lethal lover myself.
How?
Well, a man fainted on top of me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was awful. I mean, he was like twice my size, and so I thought he was going to smother me.
He was almost the lethal lover.
Oh, and I thought it was my good, sweet cooch.
Oh god. You could have joined the greats.
I could have, but it's probably for the best I didn't.
It is for the best.
Anyways, so we are going to take you all back to the 1920s. I had to think about that for a second. I couldn't
100
remember.
years. We're almost hitting the 100-year mark.
That's
of this
what I thought.
Not this episode.
This episode has been out for 100 years.
Imagine.
You may think we're dead, but we'll live on.
What do you think they're going to think about when they re-listen to this episode in 100 years?
Wow, look at those swanky women. Living
incredible women.
Liberated lives.
Liberated life. We love the alliterations today.
We do. We really, really. Well, I mean, Leopold and Loeb.
The Lethal Lovers.
What was the thing that we just
I don't know what we said.
I can't remember.
Oh, it was something good.
It was something funny.
Anyway, 1920s. This is one of the most, well-known cases of all times. There's, a lot of adaptations of it. You might know it as the perfect crime in quotation marks. Because it actually was not.
Dumb.
It was a bad crime. Also known as the thrill.
The thrill
killers.
The thrill killers.
They're called the thrill killers.
I honestly think this is where the trope of every single psychopathic, handsome, no feelings, just living for the crime and the thrill.
Handsome, but no thoughts in those eyes.
Exactly. This is Ted Bundy, but 1920s version of it.
Wow. And two of them.
Well, only one of them was handsome.
True. One of them was ugly.
And let's start with
always,
that. Yes.
You take the beautiful one, I take the ugly one. Let's talk about Nathan Leopold. Am I wrong?
You're not. No, it's true. After the Sarah Bernhardt.
I know. We love to do that.
Yeah, it's true. So, anyways.
Okay,
Phyllis is taking the ugly one.
I am. Nathan Leopold. Let me tell you, though, this man, ugly, but a fucking genius. Fucking genius. His IQ today is estimated to be anywhere from 210 to 220.
What's the average?
For context, the average is anywhere between 85 and 115.
Oh my god.
Isn't that insane?
So
he was literally known as a genius of his time.
Oh my god.
He did so well in school, had zero friends. Nobody liked him. He was super smart, but he was conceited. And he knew he was a genius. One of those fellas who was I know I'm so smart, and everyone's shut up.
Nobody cares.
We don't want to talk to you. Anyway, really ugly, really socially not well liked, not good at social interaction. However, he fell in love with a man.
Oh.
1920s, I know.
Oh, I love hidden
Progressive.
romances.
Anyway, he fell in love with a man named Loeb. You want to take it over, Darla?
Oh, I would love to. So, Richard Loeb. He was also very, very smart. Not as smart as Mr. Nathan Leopold. And from this point on, we'll just be referring to them as Leopold and Loeb, because I don't want to say their full names all the time. But, Leopold's IQ was 210, 220, you said?
Yeah.
Loeb's was 160, which, again, given that the average is 85 to 115, is far above average. So, and continuing in this thing, he graduated at 17 from the University of Michigan, and he was the youngest graduate. I mean, if you graduate at the age of 17... That's pretty impressive. And after he graduated, he planned to attend law school in the fall. So, he was the polar opposite of Mr. Leopold in the sense that he was very handsome. Because I do remember that Leopold, he had buggy eyes. Wasn't he described as he had eyes that bulged out, he wore glasses.
Yep.
Anyways, well, Leopold was very handsome. He was very charming.
Everyone loved him.
Everyone loved Loeb. Who would love a man named Loeb? I just keep thinking of earlobes.
It's a bad name.
I just think of earlobes.
Yeah. Oh, some people are into that. We shouldn't keep shame.
Well, no. Fine. Anyways, however, so as we were stating earlier, Loeb is kind of like the pre-Ted Bundy type, you know, where it's like this handsome guy that, you know, lives for the adventure. Just
wanted to get in trouble.
Yeah, wanted to get in trouble. So he committed crimes pretty much all his life, you know, like from petty theft to larceny to arson.
He loved arson.
Yeah, he did light many a building on fire. And no, I'll share the erection story later.
Yeah, no, that's a later
That's a later thing. But anyways, but also, weird thing, growing up he had a very controlling governess. Who may have had romantic interests in him after he became an adult. But a lot of people theorize that perhaps like this controlling woman was the cause of Loeb acting out and wanting to pursue crime. So he, you know, wanting to do crime, he stumbled across Mr. Leopold.
Which again, just for like context, Leopold's very smart. He would sit there and like claim that he like knew 15 languages fluently. Really, he only like knew 9 or 10, which is still impressive. But he'd like,
when you're claiming 15,
go brag about it. And because he had no friends, he loved to like, he was like a birder. Like he would like go hunt birds and like watch birds and like.
Wasn't he like an expert on like a rare species or something?
No, he was like an expert and like he would also, like, taxidermy these birds.
Oh.
So he had a huge collection of these, like, different species of birds. It was crazy. Anyway, so Leopold and Loeb, same age, went to the same school. What are you laughing at?
I'm just thinking in my head. You know, picture this.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, they plot and commit a murder. Oh, but imagine, while they're plotting... If, like, are these birds on display?
I think so in his house.
Okay, so imagine this. You and I, we're plotting a murder.
Yeah.
And in the distance...
In my room.
In your room, right behind you, there are just these birds watching you, like, tweet, tweet, murder.
Oh, no, that was literally a thing. He would specifically taxidermy them so they looked angry.
You're joking!
No! Many of his birds are, like, in a museum nowadays. They've taken his name off because the town got really mad that Leopold's name was, like, attached to it. But, like, the family, after they went to, like, jail and everything, like, donated a bunch of these birds to a museum with all these birds.
Oh, my God.
They took Leopold's name off as, like, the donator because people were mad about it.
Nobody wants a murderer's donated dead birds.
But when, like... people were asked about it, like, hey, which ones are Leopold's? They go, oh, just look for the angry ones.
Angry?
It's easy to pick
out.
Angry
birds!
Angry birds! Oh my god, is that what this is based off of? I feel like it is!
Listen, I may not know a lot of things. I may just be a horse.
Such a fun game on my phone!
But I'm on to you, CEOs of Angry Birds. I'm on to you.
We figured it out!
We figured it out.
Oh my
Anyways,
god!
Sorry to distract us. Back to the case at hand.
That's a whole thing about, that's just fun facts about Leopold. Anyway. So, he loved to go birding in all these, like, marshy areas. I don't even know what he did. He wore his, like, dumb glasses. But they were the same age, went to the same school, and they met each other and became friends-ish. It was more like Leopold was like, holy shit, this man is hot.
Uh-huh.
This man is charming. And
he's not as dumb as other people.
He's smart. And he's given me attention. And I think for Loeb, it was kind of like...
here's this guy...
who will do literally whatever I want.
Exactly. And also someone who thinks... Okay, here's an important thing about Leopold. So Leopold was an ardent... There we go, that's the word. An ardent reader of Friedrich Nietzsche, who was this German philosopher.
Yes, he loved Nietzsche.
Loved Nietzsche. I hope that's how you pronounce it.
Ditto.
I could look it up, but I'm not going to.
With two ladies from the Bronx, ignore our pronunciations.
It's fine. Anyways, but so Nietzsche had this concept called the Übermensch, which in English translates to Superman. So Nietzsche had this concept about the Superman in society, which is an individual who is so far above society in terms of morals, intelligence. Honestly, it's like a god on earth.
Yeah.
And if you are like this Übermensch or Superman, you are not beholden to society's rules. You are not beholden to the conducts of society, the moralities of society. And also, you're just above all morality in general. You have the power to do what you want, when you want, because you exist above the fray. Yeah. You exist above the fray.
See, this is such a bad philosophy. I'm pretty sure this is the philosophy Hitler used.
Honestly, probably, because when he was targeting...
When it gets into the wrong hands, it's bad. It's bad.
It's a bad argument. But anyway, so... Leopold believed in this theory of the Übermensch, and he believed that Loeb, also himself, but mainly Loeb, that Loeb was the embodiment of the Superman concept. And so that is why when Loeb approached Leopold...
He was like, you want to do some crimes with me?
Like, you want to set some buildings on fire?
Leopold was able to justify it so fast.
Exactly. And this also gave more credence to Loeb's, philandering, not philandering, because that means sex, but, crazy ways, illegal ways, in a way to say it.
Yeah, no, they were crazy. Well, because then they went and did a bunch of crimes together. They committed arson, they committed a few robberies, never really got a lot of money out of it, never really got much. They also, that's the real thing, though, is I don't think they got the attention they wanted.
Exactly.
They were just doing this really for attention.
They wanted their names on the paper. Like, there are some documents.
They never were.
Yeah.
They never were. And so, eventually, they started to get bored. Also, they started a sexual relationship.
Yes.
They started it, firstly, on a train.
Yes, please explain.
I don't even remember the story. I just know that they were on a train together, and that's the first time they had sex.
Okay, well, I'll roleplay for a moment.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. In this moment, I will be Leopold, and you are Loeb.
Oh, I'm Loeb. Okay.
Oh, I know that we're switching that in a second.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm Leopold.
I'm Loeb.
And I'm saying to you, spread eagle on this train going underneath a tunnel. Loeb, do you want to choo-choo into my tunnel? Hoo-hoo.
Yeah, I guess. And that's how it went.
And that's how it started.
I'm pretty sure that's how it went.
I think that is how it went.
That feels accurate to the characters.
That does feel accurate.
And by characters, I mean real people. These were real people. Sometimes it's hard to remember that. Because they're crazy.
They are
crazy.
They're weird. So, we talked about how they're getting bored.
Yeah.
With, these, petty crimes, which then leads them to, a.k.a.
Well, I don't even think it was Leopold getting bored. I think it was Loeb that was getting bored.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But Leopold could only get Loeb's attention, especially his sexual attention, if he was involved in these crimes. Mm-hmm. That was kind of like the thing.
They had a contract.
They literally had a contract.
They had a contract that stipulated that Leopold would go on these excursions with Mr. Loeb, and in return, every 2 to 3 weeks, Loeb would gratify Mr. Leopold.
God.
Yeah.
Really the start of, a BDSM relationship.
Honestly, they may have been the first.
Truly. Entrepreneurs.
Soldiers at the front.
Oh my God.
Of the battlefield of BDSM.
The master-slave relation.
Yes. Because Leopold was the slave. Loeb was the master. This is not hyperbole.
No, literally psychologists during their trial labeled them as that.
No, it's
the master slave.
Let me read something.
My God.
Yes, no. William White, psychiatrist at the trial that we'll get to eventually, he literally said, Leopold is estranged from his peers and was a lonely, unhappy child. He was trapped inside his world of fantasy. Nathan imagined himself a slave who saved the life of his king, Richard Loeb, and thereby had earned the king's gratitude. End quote.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is such a toxic relationship.
Oh.
Not saying BDSM is toxic, but this version,
relationship.
Not good. Not good.
So.
Anyway, so they started getting bored.
Yeah.
They started talking about it, and they went, hey, what if we pull off the perfect crime? We're really smart boys.
We are the smartest.
The smartest boys in town. Oh, we didn't even say this. They're both like multi-millionaires.
Oh, it's true. Very wealthy families.
Insanely wealthy.
Privileged. Like, they are the excuse me. They are the definition of privileged, straight... Oh, actually, they're gay. They're not straight white men.
They're not straight white. They're also... Yeah.
They're also Jewish.
They're Jewish.
They're just... rich.
Super rich. Like, cannot explain. I think one of their families today is worth like 10 million. No, at the time was worth like 10 million.
I was about to say 10 million. That's not much money in today's.
No. At the time was worth 10 million and the other family was worth 4 million. That's a lot of money. Because I don't even know. It's been 100 years. Do the math.
I'm Googling it. I'm Googling it. One moment.
10 years later.
So 10 million in the year 1920, translated to today, adjusted for inflation, is $151,681,500.
Oh my god, they were so rich.
They were very wealthy.
They got to the point and they went, let's pull off this perfect crime. How does that sound? And they started going, they were like, it's got to be a murder, obviously.
It's the only thing that'll get in the papers because nothing else we've done has gotten in the papers.
So they're like, it's going to be a murder.
Mm-hmm.
And what if we write like a ransom note?
Wait, I just got an idea.
Yeah.
Role play. You and I, we act it out.
Okay.
I'll be Loeb, you be Leopold.
Leopold. Okay, ready?
Hey.
Yeah?
Ugly one.
Stop.
I think. Hear me out.
Okay.
We murder someone.
Okay.
And we cover it up perfectly. But hear me out. To really get it in the papers and to divert attention from ourselves, we are going to write a ransom note for whoever we murder, and we're going to give it to the family.
Okay.
And no one will think it's us because we're filthy rich.
No.
Wait, why are those angry boys looking at me?
Ignore them. Ignore them. They're just looking at you.
That red one looks pretty vicious.
Do you care who we murder?
No. Do you?
No.
Okay.
It feels like a big step, but you know what? You're the Superman.
I am the Superman.
You're the
and
Superman.
Listen, this will be quick. I will have a chisel.
Okay. Yeah.
Odd weapon choice, I know. I'll have a chisel. I'll just hit him in the skull.
Hitting him in the skull. You know,
Done.
I'm so smart.
One
I know
hit.
that's gonna work. That's gonna work perfectly.
And nothing's going to go wrong.
Nothing.
Nothing.
How about we also use some acid? Make the kid seem like not the kid.
Oh, so he can't be identified.
No identifying.
Oh, that's good.
Lengthens out the murder. We all know that a long trial is what gets.
It's true.
Not even trial, because we're not going to get caught.
No, it's
a
the
long
investigation.
gets a lot of attention.
Exactly. So,
I'm on board.
sounds good.
You'll have sex with me, though, if I do this, right?
Fast forward.
Okay, we're in the car at this point.
I'm in the back seat.
We've written the ransom note. Also, still don't know who we're gonna kill. I, Leopold, am driving.
And I, Loeb, am in the back with my chisel.
Vroom, vroom. Do you see any boys we want to murder?
Oh, wait, over there.
Who's that?
Why, it's none other than my younger cousin, Bobby Franks.
Bobby Franks. He looks like he's walking back from a baseball game.
How we should give him a ride home.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll talk to him. Hey, Bobby, listen, kid.
Yeah?
Yeah, kid. Can I give you a ride home?
I mean, yeah, you're my cousin.
Great. Do you want to talk about tennis rackets?
Oh, I'd love to talk about tennis racket. I love tennis.
Great. That's actually what happened.
Get in the car, shut the door.
Shut the door. Okay, me with my chisel.
Still drive. Vroom, vroom.
So Loeb, with the chisel in hand, stab. Stab. This is
not working.
It's not working as much as I... Stab.
No,
Stab.
I'm still awake.
Wow, such a thick skull.
Thank you.
Is that what it's like to be dumb? Let's see. Ooh, I have a cloth here. He's dead.
He was suffocated after being hit with a chisel.
A number of times, unsuccessfully.
Many a times, unsuccessfully.
Blood everywhere.
Okay, wait, back into roleplay.
Oh, sorry.
It's still light outside, Loeb. I don't know what we're gonna do. I say we kind of clean up the body.
And then lunch?
Yeah, let's go eat sandwiches.
Oh, I could really go for a Reuben now.
Oh, that sounds so good. I'll run in and grab some, and then we'll just eat it in the car.
Yeah, and then we'll go someplace, and we'll clean up the blood in the back.
Yeah, we'll just dispose of the body later.
It's fine.
God, that's a really good sandwich.
Fast forward. Oh, look, a little culvert.
Oh, this is great. Let me grab the body, and we'll put him in the culvert.
Wait, we must dump the hydrochloric acid on him.
Oh, yeah,
first.
so let's disrobe him.
Just completely naked.
Put some on his
14-year-old
face.
child. Yeah, also the genitals.
Yes, because face and genitals, yeah.
Listen, people can be identified by genitals.
Oh, my God.
We can't risk it.
Nope.
So,
acid. Oh, poor buddy. He doesn't look good.
Throw him in the culvert.
But not quite fully. Let's leave his feet sticking out.
No one will notice.
No one will know.
No one will notice.
No one will know.
Hey, Leopold, where are your glasses?
I don't know. Must have dropped them somewhere on the way. That doesn't matter.
Oh, they're probably in the car.
How can someone identify me by glasses? That's so silly.
And scene.
Wow.
That's basically what happened.
We should be actors.
I really think we should.
That felt really good.
That was really good.
That felt really good.
So, they went through with this, and moving forward, they cleaned the car. They had rented a car.
It was a rental car.
So they cleaned it out, and
turned it back in,
and then they delivered this ransom note.
Not even the ransom note yet. The Franks family was like, hey, Bobby's missing. Does anyone know where Bobby is?
Oh, yeah.
That night, because, Loeb is the cousin of this family, they actually called. And they said, hey, we got your son. He's not harmed. We're going to send a ransom note tomorrow morning with all the instructions, so be ready for it.
And have the money.
Have the money, $10,000 cash. My name is George Johnson. Hangs up.
Right. And so, the next morning...
the ransom note did get delivered.
The father...
Bobby Frank's father.
Yeah, but I can't remember his name. May he rest in peace. He was about to leave the house. He left to go
to the bank.
Oh, okay.
He pulled out the $10,000.
Yes,
came home. Was waiting further instructions
and he was
where to go.
And I think he had gotten the instructions, and he was about to go. Leave when the police showed up and said, "Soy,
a body's been found,
and we think it's your son."
Because I don't understand. They're geniuses, but so dumb.
So dumb.
Leopold and Loeb left his body out in a culvert, and there was a night worker, like a crew worker.
Because it was near a railroad.
Yeah, heading home from his shift, and he ran across the body. He thought it was a little boy sleeping. And he's like, hey buddy, do you need any help? Just to realize it was a dead body. I know.
Well, that would ruin your night.
It would ruin your night. So then the police came and said, hey, because again, these are really rich people. Bobby Frank's family was also very rich. And so they, had, the privilege of, not wanting to get in the paper.
Right.
Because
they had control. They
had to keep their image up. And so, the police came and said, we haven't fully identified this body yet, but before you do anything... we think it might be your son.
So, whatever ransom you're about to go pay, say, to return your son, that's a bunch of baloney.
Don't do it.
He's dead.
They actually were also like, we found this, boy, he looks about the size of your son. Also, there was glasses there. Did he wear glasses? And the dad was like, no. He did not wear glasses. That can't be my son. But then it was identified as his son, and he was really sad.
Right. So, moving forward, this investigation begins.
Yeah.
Right.
Both of them were involved. They were let's find the killer.
No, exactly. They thought, they were like, oh, we're so smart, and if we help out, no one will suspect us.
No one will notice.
So, cutting back to...
who was it? One of them actually was talking to a detective about it, and they're like, yeah, if I was going to kill anyone, it would be Bobby Franks.
I
think it was probably Loeb.
I think it was Loeb. I think it was.
What a dumb idiot. I'm sorry. I don't understand how they could be such a genius and so dumb at the same time.
Literally, for our listeners who don't know, a culvert is like those like little tunnels. Like those
like the sewer tunnels.
Like the sewer tunnels that are out in the open. They are not hidden.
No.
They left these boys, it's just the one. This boy's feet out for everyone to see. And now, so Leopold wore glasses.
Yes.
Right. So, he accidentally
dropped them
at the crime scene where the body was. And so, of course, people are like, okay, if these are not the boy's glasses...
maybe we can use it. Because they couldn't find anything else. I mean, they were looking at the ransom note.
Yeah.
And they were like, I think it's this one typewriter. I mean, the ransom note did help, kind of, in the end.
Later.
But really, they were like, I don't know what to do.
There's nothing else.
And so, they actually went to an optometrist.
In Chicago.
And they were like, hey... is there anything special about these glasses? And at first, the optometrist was like, no, those are very general, like lenses. And then they're like, what about the frame? And there was like a little part of the frame that was like really fancy.
Yeah, it was like,
and they
like
looked it up.
horn-rimmed.
Yeah, they looked it up throughout their things, and they realized that those frames specifically had only been sold to 3 people in Chicago.
By one optometrist.
Yeah. And so they're like, who are these 3 people? One of them was a woman. She had like a strong alibi.
Yeah.
Didn't even live that close, you know. One of them was a man who had moved to Europe.
So there's no way he could have done it.
No. The third one
is none other
than Leopold.
Yep. You know...
insane. So then they went up to him and they were like, hey, Leopold, why did we find your glasses here? Oh, you want to act? I'll be Leopold. Ready?
Oh, right. I'm a police investigator.
Yeah.
Okay. Say, young man. We found your glasses at the crime scene. This is really hard, Phyllis. I can't do accents.
That's okay. You don't have to.
Okay, thank you. We found your glasses at the crime scene. How can you explain your glasses there?
Oh, you know, I'm like a famous birder. Everyone knows I go like bird hunting. I must have dropped it like 2 weeks ago, despite them being insanely clean. I must have dropped it like 2 weeks ago.
How would you have dropped your glasses if you were wearing them?
Oh, can I see them real quick? I'll put them in my pocket. I'll show you how easy it is.
So you weren't wearing them?
No, they were in like my pocket. They must have fallen out.
Okay.
Let me show you how easy it is. Trip.
They didn't fall out.
Oh, shoot. Let me try one more time.
Okay.
A trip. Let me stumble around.
I'm sorry. The glasses...
Shake.
They're not falling out of your pocket. So how did they fall out near the body at the crime scene?
You know, this is like that situation when you like make like a fart sound with your chair and you're not able to recreate it.
So, anyways, after some further investigation, where, you know, once it became very obvious that Leopold was involved somehow.
Yeah. They went and they were like investigating his room, right? And they discovered. They discovered, actually, I think it was a note. It was a love note between Leopold and Loeb. And they were like, oh my god. First of all, they're lovers? The tea.
Ooh.
And they were like, so this Loeb man must be involved too. But also, this looks like it was written on the same typewriter as the ransom note was. Because there was like a slightly defective, like lowercase t or something.
Something that like made it identifiable.
But they were like, yeah, and they were like, hey, where did your typewriter go? And he was like, what?
What typewriter? I've never typed in my life.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I just, so false. Because they brought in his study group, not his friends, because again, he didn't have any friends.
It's true. Nobody liked him.
They brought in his study group, and they're like, oh yeah, he had that exact typewriter that you're thinking of. Here's some of his notes from class, and they were able to identify that it was the same typewriter.
So at this point, they were like, okay,
it's
Loeb
you.
and Leopold
it's you two.
did this. And then they went to trial.
They did.
And thus starts the trial, which a lot of crazy stuff.
Well, because at this point, they didn't go to trial first. They were still investigating them, right? They were investigating them. They're like, we know you did it. We know you did it. Loeb was the first one to break.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. They both confessed, but Loeb
confessed first. Loeb went, you know what? I was part of it, but it was all fucking Leopold. It was all Leopold. So then the investigators went to Leopold and they went, hey, Loeb confessed and blamed it all on you. And Leopold was like, are you kidding me? No, it was all Loeb.
It was all him.
And they both turned each other in. That was a big fight. That was a big fight in their relationship. I'm sure of it.
Oh, I'm positive. No more sex after that.
No more. Anyway, so then they went to trial because at this point they'd confessed. They had the confession. They had everything.
There's no going back from that.
And so the families were like, well, obviously they're gonna get a guilty thing.
Which at the time, a guilty charge of manslaughter was the death penalty.
Almost guaranteed.
That was the punishment.
And so that was the family's biggest worries. They're like, we don't want our sons to die.
Oh.
We don't want the death penalty. Who can we hire?
Right. I also just really want to interject really quickly because this is also an important detail to the story. Leopold and Loeb both said that the other killed Bobby Franks.
Yes.
And when Loeb said something along the lines of Momsy and Dropsy, weird nicknames for parents, by the way. And Loeb had said to Leopold, Momsy and Dropsy are getting a little bit of comfort from the fact that I didn't kill him. So you are the one that's being pinned for the murder, not me. I'm involved, but I didn't kill him. But Loeb would later go on in his life to confess that he was in fact the one that killed him. But anyways, so they had to bring in someone that would prevent the death penalty from occurring.
And again, very rich families, so who did they hire?
None other than Clarence Darrow, acclaimed attorney.
Oh my gosh, he was incredible. He was incredible.
No.
He was known for so many strange things. He would sit there and for some reason the judges, I think he just had this charisma about him. Mm-hmm. The judges would just let him talk for hours and hours and hours.
He was the master at filibustering.
Yeah, he never brought up notes. Mm-mm. He never read anything. Mm-mm. He would just go on for hours and hours and hours. And his claims, so he got the two boys, and he was like, we're going to plead guilty. That's what we're going to do. Because we all know you're going to get a guilty thing anyway, and I'd rather you not have a jury, but instead just have a judge figuring out, what your punishment's going to be.
Exactly.
So that became their trial. They both were, guilty. And he made a bunch of arguments about how actually Leopold and Loeb were kind of the victims of their lives.
It's true that. So what he said, when we said that he was the king of filibustering, we're not joking. His final remarks were 12 hours long.
Didn't it take 3 days?
Yeah, it did.
It took his final remarks.
His final remarks were 12 hours long. So he said, he admitted the guilt of his clients. And then he said that there were forces beyond their control that influenced their actions. So Philip Johnson, a law professor, he described Clarence Darrow's argument as follows, quote, nature made them do it. Evolution made them do it. Nietzsche made them do it. So they should not be sentenced to death for it.
Which is crazy. They were blaming the school for teaching them Nietzsche.
It's true. They were blaming education and philosophy for the actions of these two boys.
They also talked about how they were victims of privilege. They were victims of being rich. And the fact that they never had to learn anything, and that they were corrupt by society and the need to be rich and living in this rich society.
And during this trial, so there's the defense, there's the prosecution and the defense, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
that's right. Okay, so the prosecution's argument, because the prosecution was we gotta kill these boys. The argument was that they needed money to pay off gambling debts and a desire by Loeb to quote unquote have something on Leopold in order to counter Leopold's unwanted demands for sex. The defense's argument was that the murder was an effort to deepen their relationship. Neither of those are true.
No.
No.
And I think that's why this case keeps being talked about again and again and again, is because there's not really a clear motive.
There isn't.
At all. Except for these boys being
We're better than other people.
We're better than other people. I'm bored. Let's murder someone. Let's see if we could get away with it. That's it.
It was literally... This is like How to Get Away with Murder, the TV show, but 1920s.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's chilling. I don't like it. It's chilling.
But long story short, Clarence Darrow won.
He won.
He made such an impassioned speech against the death penalty because that was Clarence Darrow's like big thing in his life.
Let's not sentence them to death. Well, he also like brought up their mothers. He was like, well, as mothers, you never know if you're gonna like be the mom of Bobby Franks and have your kid get killed, or if you're gonna be the mom of like Leopold and Loeb and have your kids be killers.
Exactly.
And so it's like, why? Like, what benefit do we do by killing more if there's already people who are dead? Like, let's think of the mothers, let's think of the fathers, let's think of the families.
You know, this is one of those cases where sometimes, you know, in order to pass legislature that is actually a good thing, sometimes you have to sneak it into a case that is actually quite disgusting.
Yeah.
Because it's horrible that this is the case that overturned the death penalty in Illinois. Like, it's an immense victory in the court of law, in terms of jurisdiction and practicing law and punishment, et cetera, et cetera. Like,
but it's also awful that...
But it's awful that
it's
attached to this case.
Where they were obviously guilty, they were just doing it to be evil.
Right. And so, because this sort of case, and this is repeated in numerous cases across, like, in so many Supreme Court cases where it's like people will try and find subjects that can help get their legislation to the Supreme Court. Doesn't matter if the case is really, like, good or not. It's just, can it get the legislation across? And this is one of those cases where for Clarence Darrow, it was.
Yeah.
This was the case where it was like, you know, this is reprehensible, but I can get the death penalty overturned.
Could get it
and that's what he did. The judge was weeping at the end of his speech. He was weeping, and they got sentenced for life.
Life plus 99 years for the kidnapping?
That's right. But
no death.
But no death penalty.
So then what happens after they go to jail?
Dun,
it's
dun, dun.
quite interesting. Because, honestly, it doesn't matter that Loeb didn't get the death penalty. He died quite fast.
He did.
He was doing his Loeb thing of trying to fascinate another inmate, try to get another inmate obsessed with him so he could control him. Yeah. The inmate was like...
You're making advances on me.
What the fuck?
I'm uncomfortable.
I don't like this. So the inmate stabbed him 40 times. And then he died.
Yep. Leopold, on the other hand, he got, not furloughed, he went, probation. He got released on probation in the 1950s.
The way he did jail, he was like the perfect inmate. He, again, super genius. So, like, before this whole thing, he, like, knew 9 or 10 languages perfectly. After jail, he spent a lot of time studying because that's what he wanted to do. So, by the time he left, he had mastered 28 languages.
Oh my God.
Mastered 28 languages. He helped a bunch in the prison education programs, helped them develop that. He participated in a lot of, like, awful medical studies that, like, hurt his body but really helped, like, the medical field. He worked at the prison hospital. He was just, like, the perfect prisoner all around. So after only 33 years...
He got released.
He got probation and got released.
And lived the rest of his life as a normal citizen.
A normal man.
Although he never was married.
No.
He never had kids.
No.
Because, once again, he had a lifelong obsession with Loeb. Yeah. Another quote. Sorry, because I find this quote fascinating. So from the trial, one of the psychiatrists said of, it was Bernard Gluck? I don't know. He said that Leopold was jealous of the food and drink that Loeb took because he could not come as close to him as did the food and drink.
Oh, buddy.
Lifelong obsession. This man never moved on from a manipulative...
asshole.
Yeah.
That makes me so sad for him. Not that he was a great person.
No, he wasn't a great person by any means.
Even at the beginning, before he did any crimes with Loeb, like, he was kind of an asshole.
Kind of, he was.
He was an asshole. Yeah, no, you're right. But it's just, like, it's sad how manipulated he got by this man.
Yes, so that concludes the tale of Loeb and Leopold.
The lethal lovers.
Phyllis added in here, we didn't explain super well that now we're moving on to talking about what happened after the murder, how it's affected today's social world. So, stay tuned.
So, the story has fascinated people for 100 years. And it has been adapted numerous times.
So many times.
So many different thingamabobs. So, for instance, one of the very first adaptations was in 1929. So
soon after.
Very, very soon after. And it's this play called Rope by Patrick Hamilton. And so it's based on the case. However, it is different in the sense that... Sure. So it follows two university students, but they kill a fellow student. Mm-hmm. And what they do is that they have... these two students have planned this party, this like lovely kind of luncheon buffet sort of thing that's celebrating their friend. They have their friend come over earlier. They murder him, and then they stuff his body into a chest. And then they set out the lunch buffet on top of the chest the body is in. And then all their friends come over. The guy that they murdered, they have his family and his girlfriend come over. And everyone's like, oh, where is this person? I can't remember any of their names because they're different from the...
Oh, yeah, they changed the names.
They changed the names. I'm just going to say Bobby for now because that's the character stand-in. So they're like, where's Bobby? Where is dear Bobby? And the two guys are like, oh, I don't know.
He didn't show up.
I don't know. He didn't show... But they're being really suspicious. So anyways, a former law professor of these two students comes and is like, what's going on? Something fishy's going on here. Eventually, he opens the chest, finds the body, and is horrified because he realizes that his two students have acted on the philosophy of Nietzsche that he taught them. And so the play ends a little bit ambiguously. But it doesn't stop there. The play was adapted. Oh, also, I should say the play was very homoerotic.
Oh, yes.
It was a London play, and it definitely did lean into the homosexual relationship between Loeb and Leopold. Not a ton since this was the late 1920s, but it was homoerotic. The play was adapted into a film by none other than our favorite, Mr. Alfred Hitchcock.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Alfred?
Sorry, that's just my nickname for him. Alfred.
But why is that a nickname? You just leave out the R.
R's are hard.
Do you know what else is hard?
Oh.
Well, not me, because I'm a woman.
Yeah, no.
But my 17 ex-lovers.
All the ones that keep trying to call you during this recording?
No, yeah, literally, I have had 15 missed calls. Oh, there's just another one. There's 16. Just another one. 16. Count them.
God.
That one was Josh.
Oh, Josh? I thought you got rid of Josh.
Well, I did, but...
Keeps trying to come back.
Yeah. What can I
Tell him after the podcast. This is your job.
This is my job. I am a working woman.
You are a working woman.
Anyways, so Alfred Hitchcock adapted the film, and I just have to say, I watched this movie. I have never been more turned on in my life.
By who?
By John Dahl. He played... Oh, no, hear me out.
Who did he play? I didn't watch this with you.
Oh, it's because I had a private evening, and I'm so grateful I did. He played the Loeb character. Literally, can you just imagine this?
Okay.
Okay.
Closing my eyes, I'm imagining.
Okay. This man has the perfect hairdo, tight-fitted, well-worn suit.
God,
This was in like the 1940s, 1950s.
God.
So a very nice, well-worn, fitted suit. So and like he has like this like navy blue suit on, and just the absolute glee he had in the murder. But listen, he sat on the couch, and it was a pose that I would bet any top does.
Yeah.
I've never been in a gay relationship myself.
But from what we know.
But from what I know, and from the men that I have been with, he was playing daddy. And I just cannot express to you this sexual energy that was rampant through that film, even though they cut all the homoerotic lines. They cut them all.
But the bodies.
The bodies. Because here's the thing, and the actors knew. They knew about the...
They did their research.
They did their research, and they said, we're not going to lily whitewash this. We are going to do this how it was intended, even though the text has been changed because of the Hays Code in Hollywood. And so there was still, just that tension, and I just...
Oh, John.
So, but, I wish I could express more to you about how hot John Dahl is in this film.
I'm gonna have to watch it after
I was so obsessed. I literally took time out of my precious day and I watched another John Dahl film. I cannot remember what it was called because it was horrible. And it just didn't do the same thing for me.
No!
I mean, he was still pretty sexy in it, but I'm telling all you listeners at home.
Wait, what's the film called?
Rope.
It's still just Rope?
It's just
They didn't
Rope.
change the name?
They did not change the name.
Incredible.
I'm telling you, listeners, if you want a spiritual experience, and it's alarming how attracted you are to a murderer, and it does give you some sympathy for the Leopold character, because you say...
You understand his obsession.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Oh, no.
Maybe I would have been driven to murder, too.
Oh, my God.
Not really. For legal intents and purposes...
That's a joke.
That is a joke. I would never.
Never.
Never, never, never.
Dahla's just not the type.
I'm not. But continuing on the path of sex, there's another adaptation of the story that is directly about Leopold and Loeb, and it is called, it's a musical, and it is called Thrill Me.
Oh my God.
By Stephen Dolgonoff. And so this show places a lot more focus on the sexual romantic relationship between the two of them. And getting back to the erection story that we...
This is a crazy story.
So we discussed that the first time that they had sexual relations was in a train.
It was in a train.
Choo-choo. Choo-choo to my hoo-hoo. That's what I would say to John Dahl if he were here.
Would.
Oh my fuck.
It was on a train. We also discussed the fact that Leopold obviously wanted sex way more than Loeb.
Oh, his libido was insanely high.
And Loeb's was really low.
He was more turned on by the criminality acts.
Uh-huh.
That is not proper English. But you understand what I'm trying to say.
Tell the story.
Oh, I mean, there's not too much to tell. But anyways, so Loeb, ensnares Leopold and is like, ooh, you should do this with me, do this with me, do this with me. And then it eventually reaches a climax where... climax, see what I did?
That's really funny.
Thanks, that was unintentional. But it reaches a climax where they set a building on fire and Loeb gets an erection. And they have sex.
Oh my God.
Oh, but
it's all Leopold wanted.
I know, but the really interesting thing about this show is that there's a twist. So the big twist in the show is that Leopold planted the glasses
on purpose,
so that they would be discovered, so he could stay with Loeb forever and ever in prison. Didn't work out, obviously, because they were in separate prisons.
In real life, they put them in the same prison.
They what?
Yeah. In real life, they were like, we gotta keep these two separated, and I think they put them in the same prison. They didn't actually keep them separated.
I must have read something faulty then.
Maybe I'm totally wrong. I know that they talked about putting them in different
That's
prisons.
probably what I'm thinking of, because I swore I read something that was like they were in separate prisons, but either way, Loeb was murdered pretty early on, so if that is true, that Leopold planted the glasses, which who knows if that's true or not.
No, yeah, they both went to the Illinois State Penitentiary.
Oh, okay. Forgive me for the misinformation.
No, they should have. They should have kept them separated. They were talking about it because they're like, these two are bad for each other. But they both still went to the same prison.
Yeah, but they weren't like inmates together.
No.
They were like in separate parts of the prison. Because like Loeb had a different inmate that he was hitting on.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't that be such a gag if Loeb was actually murdered by Leopold because Leopold was jealous that he was hitting on someone else. That would be a gag.
Phyllis added in here. Obviously, we had very different views of what happened here, so we looked it up, and here's our research.
Oh, wait, where were we?
Oh,
yeah, no, they started out in the same prison.
Okay.
And then in 1925, they transferred Leopold to a different one.
Okay.
Because it had medical facilities he could work at.
That's
and
okay.
Then
they went separate.
Loeb started hitting on other men. Because he didn't have Leopold.
That makes sense. I don't have much more to say about Thrill Me, except just the fact that, you know, this is a story that has pervaded the American consciousness for a really long time. You know, in different decades, it keeps being remade or being retold in different ways. Mm-hmm. Like, recently, there was a play called The Dialogues of Leopold and Loeb, that is directly based on the transcripts and interviews and et cetera, of the trial and the investigation and documents that were found in Leopold and Loeb's possessions. It's like all of the text is directly based off of like these real life words. And that was recently done, like less than a decade or so ago.
It's crazy.
You know, but... So then I guess that brings up the question of, like, why are we so fascinated by it?
I really think it's the fact that there's not really a motivation. They literally chose Bobby, like, 10 minutes before they killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they weren't doing it to someone on purpose. They were just doing it to murder someone.
Right.
Which is insane, and I just think it's really hard for most of us to wrap our minds around that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I also think because they were gay, that adds like the extra spice.
Yeah.
And also, unfortunately, probably led to more negative stereotypes of queer people because it was like, oh, see, these degenerates of society, they murdered somebody with no cause.
No cause.
I have a guest that I've brought in. My nephew, Levi.
Oh my god, I love Levi.
He's a homosexual. So, Levi, yeah? I would like to ask you a question. As a gay person, have you ever killed somebody? No, that's all the time we have for. Thank you so much, Levi, for coming in.
It's not gay people. It's just Leopold and Loeb.
It's just them. But I think that's also contributed to a lot of the fascination. It's like this secret love. Because people love secret love.
They love secret love. Oh my god. The really dark Romeo and Juliet. Really toxic, dark Romeo and Juliet. That happened in real life.
Real life. You can't make this shit up.
Thank you so much for joining us. That's all the time we have for today's episode.
You enjoyed that? Oh, sorry to cut you off.
Darla!
I'm sorry. I got really excited. I hope you enjoyed it.
I'm Phyllis.
I'm Darla.
Stay smart.
Stay slutty.
We'll see you next time.
I'm sorry, Phyllis. I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's okay. Thank you.